10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Monkey King.
Radiant team pick. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Lena.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Slada.
OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Winter Wyvern.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Imber Spirit.
OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Alchemist.
Radiant team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Shadow Fiend. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
LFY is going to be pretty pressured to make things happen. And we're going to see the OG that we saw earlier, right? Where No Tail as a Terrorblade is a huge space creator. He had such an amazing day one on that Terrorblade. I was very impressed by him.
Oh, totally. I think that it was, oh, Good Luck Baby comes out. Monet.
All right.
A little bit saucy early on here. I like this. You don't always end up seeing the sort of banter that you normally have between similar regions. It's nice to see it.
Yeah, I know. Trying to distract OG with sex appeal is a pretty good idea, I think. No Tail's pretty susceptible to that. Clever play. Much like the Arteezy, Eternal Envy, love-hate relationship. You know how Envy got the early one-up on Arteezy by tilting him in a pub? Similar scenario here. You gotta reach outside of the game, outside of the box, you know, Gabe, to find those little advantages.
Well, I like the idea of it. Early on, you already see Anna here cutting down a lot of these trees. They do not want to allow Monkey King to mess with them, and this is a really cool idea. You sit around for a little while. You got a Quelling Blade. What else do you have to do besides try and hunt for a Monkey King or cut off his ability to jump around? And now movement in. I think that this is going to be effective.
Yeah, this could be pretty interesting. Oh, there's smoke pops on the Monkey King. That's a bit unfortunate. They really wanted to get the bounty rune kill and just be able to pop out, kill the SF, take his bounty rune or something. But they're actually not going to be able to get a bounty rune for Anna because of that.
What? Okay, well, that's really unfortunate, certainly. And it ends up trading off all across the board.
Just a wild tree walking across the lane. The creeps, they're so dumb. They're just like, that's normal. Yeah, trees walk all the time. No big deal. Just keep moving, fellas.
Well, how much does that hurt Anna right now? He's going to actually start with Acid Spray since he didn't end up getting a bounty rune. This feels like it might make it a little bit more easy for him against Super on the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane.
It slows down his bottle timing slightly, but it's not that big of a deal. You make up for it in CS, it seems, as he hits all 4 of those creeps, and Little Super's already low on regen, so he's going to have to burn through those shared tangos pretty early.
You know, you talked a lot about No Tail on the Terrorblade. He's been playing it fairly consistently throughout this, but we haven't seen a lot of the safe lane Ember. Does this differ at all from the normal mid lane in any meaningful fashion, or is it just you come online a little bit earlier?
No, not terribly. It's just like we've seen it a few times before DAC, and it's just when you're forced into it because there's a bad mid matchup. It doesn't like hurt the hero very much. It does seem a little lackluster from a safe lane farming position. The hero does still put pressure on most offlaners, but Centaur is going to be one that's going to be more difficult to put pressure on. He's tankier than normal. He also has a heavy amount of magic damage coming out from that hoof stomp to clear through the flame guard early. So the first couple of levels, you're not really going to put too much threading power on S4.
You can already see here as well, 5 and 3 to start off his laning phase. S4 is having a wonderful time. They are going to try and get a little bit of a slow onto S4 for the moment, force him back out of lane, but does not look like LPC is going to get within range to throw the magic missile or even have any great desire to do it.
Yeah, I think this is why they bring White down here, is because the Ember Spirit, Vengeful Spirit is not going to be good enough. So bring the extra hero to shove the Centaur out of lane, can't let him have a good start. That does leave Jising over here on the Slardar left alone. Normally, he would have the Monkey King as a, sort of an aggro dual lane against the Lina Terrorblade, but he's going to have to wait a little bit.
Jerax, always one to rotate, wants to go in with the Winter Wyvern, but unfortunately there was a quick spot of it. Super backs out, and they weren't able to find anything with that rotation. But still, it's not necessarily like it's a bad time at all. Both heroes just farming away. Maybe Shadowfiend a little bit ahead in terms of denies, although Ana's getting a couple more last hits. Looking for possibly a kill. If he had enough there for that last raise, it would have been his death.
Yeah, could have gone the long-range raise if he just had 5 more mana, gotten an early kill. But now Ana popped his healing salve, has the bottle in hand, and he'll be good until probably about level 5. The SF gets another big power spike with the raises and can actually get a 1-2-3 raise combination that brings down Alchemist. But because of the Monkey King's influence as well, I highly anticipate Ana's just going to abandon lane around level 4.5, 5. Give that lane to Jerax perhaps as the Winter Wyvern, or even S4 if he's struggling to find farm. He could rotate over, and Ana could just spend time in the jungle. He's already got stacks available, as you could see.
Ooh, this is really good. Yeah, this early levels, Monkey King is going to try and soak up some experience here. And if he gets a couple of levels, gets a couple points into that Boundless Strike, suddenly you're going to have a great possibility to find kills when Ana goes back to mid lane and then the raise comes out. But for now, at least, just going to soak up experience. Looks like LPC is going to come over to contest a little bit as well. They need to do something because they can't just let this Alk farm like this.
White is going to jump down and start getting some damage onto Ana. Maybe they can actually kill him.
There's the magic missile that comes out. Super there as well. Right click and the raise. They take him down. Jerax is just going to back out and away. White in the meantime trying to run away. They've brought in flies. Well, a very tenuous situation. The neutral ends up denying the Monkey King. S4 is chasing Super, who is behind and in between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers. And, well, they lose another as well. 3 die, one of them to neutrals, but it's a heavy price to pay for killing that Alk.
Yeah, I think that OG did not expect that kind of rotation because there's a big reason why you don't rotate into that off-lane jungle area, is that you're very rapidly going to be surrounded by heroes. There's a lot of TP points, and there was an aggro dual lane situation going on for OG. Nice denying the bounty rune there from Super, denying that from Ana. So it ends up working to the favor. Like, yeah, they took the stack, but it doesn't matter. Like, Ana came back. He got a little bit of CS in mid. The supports really benefited off of that, but they're going to kill Ana again.
Nicely done. This rotation game from LFY, constantly putting them in these positions to find these kills. It's working out fabulously.
And I'm looking around at some of the other lanes, and it's going pretty well there. No Tail is...
Oh, they got another kill here. Jerax is going to drop.
Wow.
And Super keeps being the one to find these kills as well, which I feel is so important.
Yeah, he's moving around quite a bit as the SF. Very smart of him, though. They are going to lose their offlane tower pretty early. That's kind of standard against a Terrorblade, who's got a very favorable matchup against the Slardar. There's not much G-Sync can really do about this.
This has been the sort of style that No Tail has been playing as well, trying to make space for Ana in the mid lane so that way he can just farm to his heart's content and then carry them in the later stages of the game. It does feel already, though, that, you know, they're able to hem in Ana a little bit. They also were able to get finally the D wards over on the camps that Alchemist was stacking. Do you need to be too concerned about Shadowfiend just getting out of control, being 3-1 and with 30 last hits at this point?
It depends on how well S4 is doing, because if the Shadow gets farm, he can still be shut down by S4. So that, for me, they get level 6 on Lina, they get the blink to Egger. Just trying to initiate on the big damage dealer every single time. Pretty susceptible to heavy nuking power. So be concerned if I was OG, and simultaneously if I'm LFY, I don't want to feel too big about shutting down Ana's farm early, because the Terrorblade is going to be coming in to create space for Ana. So you create a minor bump in the road now, but it doesn't mean much in the long run to an Alchemist.
Yeah. The acid spray, kill off the creeps very quickly. Ana heads back to the jungle. It makes sense. Apparently, we've got a little bit of Ka going on.
Yeah, a little Kale. G-Sing is, because No-Tail's pushing into him so heavily, he is getting some okay CS as a Slardar. Like, Slardar is usually very inhibited in CS. It gets very poor farm as a solo offlaner. He's so easily shoved away by one support and one carry, but because of a 1v1 scenario, he is getting a bit more, and maybe he can have an earlier impact in this game, just like S4 is. But I highly anticipate this Centaur is going to be a lot more impactful. We'll have the faster Blink Dagger, and his skill set honestly will allow him to just do a lot more.
No, definitely. The Stampede, very impactful in the early points before the Blink Dagger even comes online. But it's also worth noting, they don't have as many of those easy point-and-click stuns that you sort of need to start the team fights. Fly is probably the best example of it with Light Strike Ray, but that's not super reliable. It does feel to me like there's going to be this timing when you've got Boundless Strike, you've got Magic Missile, and LFY are going to hit a nice timing there. Do you think that that's something that you need to be concerned about for OG?
Yeah, this is going to be timing pretty soon here. Usually when you have level 8 or 9 and working on Veil is when your safe lane Ember Spirit comes into play and starts being super active. But they're actually going to try and bring him in a lot earlier, and it may surprise OG.
Oh, they're on the No-Tail, the jump forward with the Remnant Monet. Oh, they don't decide to go for it. And so because of that, well, it recognizes that Ember Spirit rotated out of lane. We'll see if they can make anything of it nonetheless.
You see S4 at bottom, he's like, sweet! All right, I get a now 1v1 against a level 3 Vengeful Spirit. More farming time for me.
I really like that OG keep on just tearing down trees whenever they get an opportunity to. They just keep on buying Quelling Blades and make that happen. A scan is going to reveal that Sing is heading down towards that rune as well. Winter Wyvern is going to head off into the trees, and from that, be able to continue the aggression.
Yeah, they hook up with the Monkey King Slardar duo. This should be, in theory, a very powerful duo. A lot of physical damage, some minus armor, now that Slardar's level 6. But they're not leaving any important heroes at top. In fact, it's going to be maybe LPC dies.
Oh, well, trying to turn. S4 actually is going to end up dropping there. The Stampede, just a second too late, and well, Super ends up being a part of that kill again. He has been everywhere. I
was like, S4 is probably like, what the hell is a Shadow Fiend doing in the bottom lane? Like, how did that happen? LFY seem to have some pretty unique ideas about moving this SF around so much. They're now going to let Monet occupy the middle lane, though I do like, this is what OG's special flavor is to the Terrorblade. They bring him online super early and threaten towers. They pretty much play like around the clock on this Metamorphosis timer. Every single time it's off cooldown, No-Tail looks to make an aggressive maneuver.
Likewise, though, the rest of LFY is here, and Super ready to jump in at a moment's notice. There were a couple of pinks. They might have scouted out that they're in the area. It does look like OG are going to back out after doing about half damage to that mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah, but look at the damage that No-Tail caused. LFY, they took a lot of chip damage on their mid-tier 1 tower. They also had to rotate multiple heroes into mid lane, and yeah, OG had to back off, but No-Tail's still going to make use of that Metamorphosis on the jungle. Now, LFY is doing the right play. They had to rotate like that, but now they have too many heroes here. They want to try and threaten the tower and see if they can actually get a fight.
They're going right away onto Ana. Oh, the
nice
Sunder
swap.
coming in from No-Tail. Going to keep him alive. Yeah, that's a little bit of help from your friends right there.
Yeah, that was cool blade there from No-Tail. He's going to back off, hit a shrine up, and then go straight into the jungle again, while Ana uses that full HP to work on the Radiance some more.
I was wondering if maybe they're thinking about diving further with a second Remnant towards No-Tail, but that might have been a little bit too bold. Fly just going to soak up a little bit more for himself. No-Tail comes back. Nothing really lost from that play. Still, S4 Centaur is going to farm barely close to his Blink Dagger. He's gotten good farm.
Who doesn't have good farm, though? It's this Ember Spirit, man. Ember Spirit is... He's only sitting at 3,200. He's behind every other core in this game right now, despite having the same one. And he's made these rotations, but hasn't connected with any of them. That's because OG's playing pretty safe, right? They're oftentimes grouped around the mid area. if they're top, most of the time it was Winter Wyvern.
This is going to potentially be the kill that he needs to get back into this game. They don't quite connect onto the chains, but they do still have remnants if they want to use it. The cold embrace. That was as the Stampede came out, it looked like, and, well, he is going to end up paying for it. No Tail jumps forward. Monet going to find him, and they get that kill.
Yeah, this is why No Tail was avoiding some of that top lane areas, is because of potential rotations like that. He just didn't realize it was going to be in Viz Rune. But OG are making the most of it, right? The space created by all those heroes being at top is going to be somewhat undone or rectified by the fact they're pushing in mid, get more chip damage onto that tower. In fact, it's now in deny range. Even if you don't get the bounty for the tower, it's still worth a lot just to be able to take away that map control.
And, you know, we just see the Blink Dagger reveal on a great target a second ago. Kind of waiting to see what S4 is going to do with the same type of thing. It just still is a problem where what's the follow-up afterwards? It feels like they need that Terrorblade to be there to be the damage dealer. Lina doesn't really have the levels, and Wyvern isn't really making that much happen at this early stage.
Yeah, they've got Metamorphosis up. I think it's literally just waiting for Blink Dagger and level 6 on Lina. He's just got to take a pause for a minute, though. The fight may still happen at bottom first.
They're on top of him, looking for the jump. They're able to catch. There's the crush as well, and so close to that Blink Dagger. Another huge kill for LFY.
That's gigantic, man. He really should have had his Blink Dagger by now. He was like 9 gold away from it when he died, so needs another 200, maybe play off the neutrals. But this does mean, like, No Tails, he feels a little stymied now, because normally he'd be making aggressive rotation about now. Now he has to wait a little longer for the Centaur and Lina. Lina, who still needs another creep wave to hit his level 6 and have that Laguna Blade ready to go.
Oh, Arcane Boots for her. You've got a lot of sustain here, but it does it feels as if they need every piece of it to work together. Whereas if you take a look at LFY's draft, they only need like 1 or 2 heroes. You need the Venge and the Slardar, or the Slardar and the Shadow Fiend. And they are sort of grouped up in the mid lane now with Ember and Slardar there. They might think about going onto this Wyvern again, and I'll crush a little bit off the mark, not able to catch Jerix.
Jerix has gotten a lot of solo time in lanes to kind of recover. This is a really good way to allow your roamer to recover. You know, he was trying to move into the mid lane and do things like that, and he got really under-leveled and under-farmed because of it, but they gave him some time at top. He now has his level 6. This Winter's Curse could be very impactful, either setting up potential stun combinations or even just allowing them to get the quick kill and then backing away. In some ways, using that Winter's Curse as a zoning mechanism.
There is another smoke by both teams, as mid lane is where they're trying to bait out the Shadow Fiend. Though it looks as if OG not willing to go for the bait. Movement now down towards bottom. They want to try and catch this Alchemist. It does not look like he's going to stick around either, though. Both teams, I think, realize that there's ganks happening and don't want to be the one to lose their core.
Yeah, too many heroes off map as a whole. So OG know to play pretty defensively. You can see their wards also very defensive, based around guarding the entrances to jungle areas where Ana is most commonly going to be found farming. So they just want to protect him. Oftentimes they want to play aggressive with 4 heroes on one side of the map, so Ana's able to farm the other side of the map. They want to draw attention away from him.
Also an Invis rune on S4. This might be the missing piece in their draft, and this little team fight that's coming up that will end up tilting the scales, but looks like LFY again going to back out. Ember Spirit goes mid, knows he needs to catch up, and they're going to leave it be at that. So a very disciplined play coming out from LFY. I'm pretty impressed with what they've been able to put together so far.
Yeah, I did not watch the series of LFY versus Wings, but I think it was Fogged who said that LFY looked really good in that series. It wasn't just Wings choking or anything like that. So LFY definitely deserves to be here. They're not just some schmucks who just kind of wandered into a big tournament like this. There's the Shadow Blade. Still not going to find. It's just OG are playing too grouped up and too defensive. At some point in time, LFY, this is the thing, is that OG play this kind of style, and teams will get a little bit too anxious. They know they need to get a team fight to happen eventually, and they're not patient enough. So eventually they just stumble into the wrong fight. You know, they push into a tier 1 tower that's defended by OG, and OG will experience this big windfall as they successfully defend a tower and have a good team fight around it. LFY, they need to keep that patience. I know the Alchemist is in the game, but you can't worry too much about the the buildup of the Elk. That'll just like force mistakes to happen.
I mean, they do have to be aware of it, because we did just see that Radiance picked up for him. And
Yeah.
well, I understand the not forcing it issue. It's never a good idea, but maybe this is the answer as Monkey King is heading up towards the jungle. There's several other heroes in the area. It looks like over by the shrine now. Slardar trying to set up. Ana's revealed as well, but they aren't going to go on him.
Super may still find a Shadow Blade initiation here.
Is under attack.
Looks like there is a sentry ward already dropped, though, and looks like OG now the ones to be aggressive. Very back and forth cat mouse games going on here.
Yeah, this aggressive poke out from OG with this smoke, but again, it does seem like LFY have pretty good read. They're going to let LPC drop here. Not a big deal by any means. It's not like there's even a mid tower for OG to try and pressure anyway, so they're just going to use that time to go back and farm jungle.
I mean, is the onus on LFY right now to find kills, or do you think
Yes.
that... Okay, it very much is.
Yeah, it definitely is. They just can't get too over anxious and stumble into the wrong team fight. They're still farming pretty well. The big thing is that like SF needs to continually bounce off of jungle and lane. Like SF needs to not quite match the Alchemist in farm, but he does need to be kind of keeping pace. I would say within a 2 to 3K window for the first like 25 minutes of this game. The SF is not the tower hitter that he will be eventually. So in some of this early game, they don't really have the power to just overwhelm these outer tier 1 towers. And OG know that. OG know that they have enough fighting prowess to be able to defend tier 1 towers. And it's why they're waiting for that mistake of LFY.
You know, it almost feels to me as if LFY are thinking that they can go later, though, and be comfortable in it. Because you saw there the Slardar, he's going back for the Hand of Midas at this point. Obviously, it's just to remain relevant as the game goes on. He knows it has the potential to go late, but it doesn't feel as if they're under pressure, or maybe it doesn't feel like it's a lack of confidence either, though.
Oh, no. I think judging from their play, they really are being very confident about their decisions. I wouldn't say necessarily they feel good about going super late game or anything like that, but I do think their timing is going to be based much more around 25 and 30 minutes rather than trying to force things to happen at 15 and 20.
Okay.
You can't let like just the Radiance itself on the Alchemist make all the decisions for you. Because he's getting Radiance at this time, we need to take all their outer towers. That's the wrong mindset to have. As long as you're farming as well, it's okay. You're going to be able to utilize, maybe you have less farm than him, but you're going to be able to utilize that farm better than an Alchemist can. You have to remember this guy soaks up a lot of farm off of the map, and it's taking it away from some of his allies. So as long as you're continuing to farm on your 3 cores and you have a game plan for progressing past 35 and getting into that 45-minute territory, I think LFY is fine.
Yeah. And you saw there, the Midas did just finish off for the Slardar as well. Ember Spirit's gone to his Blade Mail on top of the Veil, and with the bots next, I believe, is what he's going to be going for. You have a nice situation here where he can keep the lanes pressured out and then go as 4 with the rest of them and have the ability to jump into the fight at a moment's notice.
Yeah, remember I kept referring to like a crime of opportunity or something like that. It's based around opportunities. That's what LFY are sitting at a point, right? They would love to be able to take these outer towers. They would love to be able to take tier 1 on both sides of mid and the off lane tower and kind of open up the jungle areas a little bit more and limit the area that OG can farm a bit. But it's only going to be found through the right kind of smoke rotation, the right pick-off or team fight initiation.
So... still the Alchemist farms. He's flirting with around that 4K net worth lead above the Shadow Fiend right now. Ana building back towards the Manta style after finishing the Yasha. But I certainly feel like with this BKB, now might be that good timing for LFY to look for a group up, look for some type of pressure on the map, and it does look like that's going to be the smoking going.
Yeah, you don't commit to this somewhat earlier BKB on an SF without having a clear game plan in mind. So Roshan, tier 1s, tier 2s.
Yep. Presence of the Dark Lord is maxed out. You've got yourself the amplified damage, Vengeful Spirit in the area. OG realizing that this is happening just a couple seconds too late and does not look like they're going to be able to contest. So a free Roshan, and LFY, they just keep on assembling these chess pieces together, all the little advantages they're building up, and now it does feel like it's going to be the time for them to take advantage of it and try and take a fight.
Yeah, look at the farm difference right now between our Slardar and our Centaur. You can't point to the hand of Midas being the difference maker there, right? He just picked it up. It's the fact that Alchemist and Terrorblade are taking so much of the farm that it's hurting their 3 position. And normally that's okay. But LFY are playing it pretty smart, pretty farm efficient. They do know their Alchemist game. It's been run a lot in the Chinese meta leading into this tournament.
They ready to get very aggressive here. They're going to jump forward, hoof stomp onto both of the cores. They do still have the Winter's Curse. If they want to use it, Monet's in trouble. They turn it now onto the Shadow Fiend, but he gets swapped out. Great play there by the Vengeful Spirit. Monet's still going to be controlled and brought down. That's only the Aegis for now, though. Looks like OG to be at least a little bit careful. There's Corrosive Haze on a lot of these heroes. They get a crush onto 2. S4, he's going to end up not going down. Actually, they do find that kill with the Raze. BKB pop from Super. So now, OG need to be a little bit more trepidatious about going in.
It is still not enough for them to really break OG and take that tier 1 tower. So I would say that's an OG win. They fought into an Aegis. They also used another BKB charge on SF, and they still held. This is a combination of they have this Winter Wyvern who's really tough to push into because of the Splinter Blast. They also have the Acid Cloud that's out. And it's also another thing is just the positioning of OG. They always are reading where LFY is going for a push like this, and they set up preemptively, making it a lot more difficult.
A very good hold. LFY would love to be able to start breaking down these objectives, but with only one tier 1 taken in that top lane, feels like it has to be off the back of Super catching somebody out with a nice Requiem of Souls, or possibly just a Slardar Crush followed up by Ember Spirit and then finding the pickoffs. OG is not giving them those opportunities.
No, they really aren't. OG, it's kind of cool, right? They use this Terrorblade to bully down the enemy's tier 1 towers before you truly have stopping power for him. Like, the Metamorphosis is just overwhelmingly strong that he takes the offlane tower because there's nothing you can do about that. And then he just rapidly rotates in these other lanes and takes them so quickly. And then they're actually defending the important towers of their own. They keep that mid-tier 1 tower up for so long and keep that offlane tower up because they know LFY could just play an efficiency game if they hold more map control than OG. So they want to keep this map control intact as long as possible.
Well, taking down Fly right here and then following it up with soon to be a tier 1 tower is certainly what they need to do. The Force Staff, or rather Hurricane Pike from Terrorblade, not able to save Lina there. No Tail does have a DD rune, but the Crush, this is a good one if they can take it. Fly still there. He's back in an instant because of that minus respawn. Sunder comes off, which is going to control up Super for a moment, but Pump fakes the Requiem of Souls, hasn't used it as of yet. They still do have Swap from LPC, but don't really want to swap in one of your teammates to die to their...
I thought he was going to swap. I was like, just do it, dude. Save your own life. Well, he gives up his life to make sure that all of his allies are able to run away. That tier 1 is still up, though, because of the fact that OG kind of baited out a team fight farther to the right. LFY took the bait, they chased it down, and did not focus on taking that tier 1. I think they really should have just been happy with the kill they got on the Lina, quickly taken that tier 1 tower, and then kind of gone from there. If there were more opportunities to fight after that, sure, go for it, but...
I mean, now we're looking at 18,000, almost 19,000 net worth on the Alchemist, 6,000 gold ahead of where this SF is. And SF has a lot of items that allow him to fight right now. You've got that Shadow Blade, Yasha for movement speed, but it definitely is feeling like their window is rapidly closing to actually kill this Alk.
Yeah, with their item choices, but between the earlier BKB and now going for an SNY and the SF, it's like at first they were saying, no, we're okay being able to like just kind of farm for right now. We're going to hit our timing at 25, 30 minutes. It'll be okay. And then all of a sudden now they're just going all in at that 25, 30. They're not trying to give SF items that allow him to progress, 35, 40 minutes like we were talking about earlier. They're just like saying, we have to win this now. Yeah. And I'm not sure if that's crumbling under pressure. I'm not sure if that's like the right idea for this matchup, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. They're feeling like, man, we just really haven't been able to crack OG yet, and they do have 50% of the map with an Alchemist. They have a Terrorblade as well. We also have some really good Ags to pass around.
Yeah. I think the other thing to mention is that if they do manage to kill off that Alchemist right now, it's a lot of items that allow that to happen. That's a huge swing over because you do still have this Slardar that's actually almost ahead of the Terrorblade in terms of farm. So the rest of the heroes from LFY are there. It's going to need to be a group effort put together to bring down the raid boss and that Alchemist.
Let's see, how's our Slardar doing? He picked up a Force Staff, and he's now going a Shadow Blade next instead of maybe more of a team fighting item in like BKB. But he is doing a remarkable job keeping up in farm. I think the G-Sing is pretty good in that from an offlane position, is keeping up his farm rate. That's why he's, I think, really good on Legion Commander in particular.
Yeah. Well, No Tail shows up, and that dissuades LFY from going any further towards the Tier 1 tower. The unbreakable Tier 1s, you could say. Oh, Ana now getting the stun ready, but the Shadow Blade, he's going to stun himself. It's a scary time, but the Force Staff going to keep him getting gone on. Good decision from LFY there not to overcommit or anything. And the Stampede, they're looking, they're trying to find it. LPC, he is going to get caught, but it is only a Vengeful Spirit.
I guess it's very rarely, most of the time it's like you criticize the team for being too aggressive, and so being passive and controlled is oftentimes a sign of a very good team, and it's very rarely a detriment. But I do feel like LFY are almost being too passive in this regard, especially given their item choices on the SF as well.
This is their time, though. Bring down the Alk off of this, it would be huge, and that's going to be a lot of damage there. Force Staff away, keeping Monkey King alive. Still, there's not enough of the rest of the heroes here to make this work. Shadow Fiend shows up, pops his BKB, turns to maybe try and fight. Monet's going to keep a couple cold by the chains. Requiem of Souls come out, but it's just no damage. They're not on any of the heroes of OG. They're going to get this Tier 2 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
OG, I think they now have this game. It's just like they're getting so big. There was already, I think, a drafting advantage for OG. Having this last pick, Alchemist, it was a great Alchemist game. There's only so much LFY could do to pivot their roster into something better. The SF was probably one of the best heroes out there. They would have had to, like, maybe the only way they could have gone later is if they put mid-Ember against an Alk and then gone like a Morphling safe lane or something like that. I think SF was the right hero, and they had some of the right ideas. They didn't to get too over anxious, but at a certain point they missed their timing. They let Alchemist get up to this point where he now has an Assault Cuirass and you just don't have the damage to deal with him. They needed to be able to utilize heroes like this Ember Spirit when your magic damage was at its finest, right? Where you're able to have the potential to just blow up a core because you triple remnant him with Veil of Discord. That was your timing to be able to just go in and like take those towers. And OG did provide a stellar defense at all regards, but you still at some point in time had to say, it's time to man up.
Yeah.
It's time to force this. You know, damn it, we can't be afraid of the consequences of it, what happens if we lose this fight, because if you just, for lack of a better phrase here, if you just like wussy out, there it is.
Yeah.
If you just wussy out, then you're just going to let an Alchemist run over you 10 minutes later.
Yeah, wussy out, definitely. And you know, the other thing there to keep in mind, as we do get this Winter's Curse off, thinking about going for more, there's the swap away. LPC again going to give his life for the cause. But it's sort of too much of a good thing, you know? You talk again about not needing to commit stuff, and that was what we were talking about throughout the whole early stage. You don't need to force it. Don't need to force it. Eventually you need to force it.
Yeah,
it's gotta happen.
I kind of regret saying that to LFY because Jesus, it was like, they're like, oh, okay. No, we don't need to force it. Well, at some point, you know,
Yeah.
there's only so much give. So now it's going to be an Aegis for OG. They're going to take these Tier 2s. They have really good high ground taking potential when the Alchemist reaches this kind of point. He's just so overwhelmingly strong that no one can really deal with him, so he's going to probably chip down a Tier 3 pretty quickly.
All right, Super, do it one time. Requiem of Souls, we're waiting. He decides to
One
go
time
for
for the
it.
homies.
There's a BKB popped. It's not really a ton of damage. Sunder as well to turn it. Oh, that's a pretty good combo. No Tail is not going to fall, though. A magic missile onto the Alk, only to hold back the tide of what could be a GG push. This is looking still terrifying for OG.
Yeah, I mean,
Or rather for
it was still an Aegis on the Terrorblade, right? So even if they did manage to get that kill, it was just OG would have just shrugged it off and kept going. So yeah, I don't know, Gabe.
I mistakenly said there that it was looking scary for OG. I definitely meant LFY.
Oh, yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I knew we were on the same page. It's not good for LFY.
It feels to me as if, again, they're also not going to afford them the opportunity to get back into this game. Is there an item, like with this BKB, does that change things at all for the Slardar and the way they take the fights?
Not really, no. The Butterfly would not really change things, but it would help a little bit for the SF and just getting more raw right-click damage. The big problem is, like, our Ember Spirit is not... Ember Spirit now has... It used to be this gradual build-up. On the old Ember Spirit, we're using the Sleight of Fist as your primary damage. But with this magic damage Ember Spirit, you have some very distinct peaks and valleys where you have a huge peak at 15 or 25, and you do drop off afterwards. You reach a serious valley where physical damage starts becoming more prevalent, but you've committed to this magic damage, and it's not as important anymore. So you reach this valley. It's the problem is that they didn't utilize the Ember Spirit well enough in the time that he was strongest, and now he's going to look super weak as he starts transitioning outside of that. If we eventually get to late game, the Ember Spirit does become relevant again, but right now, his damage is going to look so pitiful against the OG members who now have the innate stats to tank through the initial burst.
This has got to be one of the most fun games that Ana's played in this tournament, honestly. He's just been able to farm for the past, like, 20 minutes, basically. He got killed a couple times in lane early on from rotations, and then since then, he's been free to do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he's just been hearing the sound of gold raining down constantly. An aggressive push out, see if they can catch somebody. If they do, then boom, it turns into a high ground push. Failing that, though, failing a pick-off like that, just control. Control. All that LFY can really do is aggressively push out with Monet and split push with him, but that's pretty much it.
Well, here it comes. Metamorphosis pop. Still got the Alk on the low ground. Going to throw out one of these stuns. Hits still onto the Shadow Fiend. Shrine has already been popped now, and you do also use the Glyph. So Ana stepping forward. They just don't feel like they can do anything to him. It is too hard to stop this pressure coming in from the damage dealer and the hero that's never going to die in Ana. So Monet taking a couple hits. This is going to be a barracks down, and I don't see what the answer is in the least bit.
Yeah, they try and get some damage on No-Tail. Like, they need to jump No-Tail, but at the same time, he's the one with the Aegis. They just can't target Ana at all because he's so big now.
Yeah, turns back around again for the stun. Throws it out onto the Slardar. No respect at all for any type of high ground defense because it's not there for LFY. They don't have any way to deal with it. Range barracks is going to drop as well. They are going to for a little bit of a swappage type of play, but Ana is going to be back and perfectly fine.
Sunder wasted by No-Tail on the Lincolns, but there it is. Kind of the zoning Winter's Curse to allow OG to extract themselves from that situation. Now they can take Shrines. I think LFY, the only way that they could have taken that fight is if they did a smoke wraparound play. They needed to get to the backline first, try and blow up the Wyvern and Lina, give themselves a numbers advantage because clearly this Terrorblade and Alchemist are not the heroes you're going to be able to burst down. You can't focus them. So you needed to be able to take out the other heroes and then slowly work on the other two as 5.
You know, I watch a lot of the Chinese DPL, cast a good amount of it as well, and this is pretty typical of some of the types of games that they have there, where you have one team that has built up a nice timing, but then they don't always take full advantage of it, and then they kind of are left in this awkward spot where they just keep on keep on trying to build up that advantage again, and then go for another strong timing. And you do have the Butterfly that's done now for the Shadow Fiend, which could be one of those other timings, but it feels as if OG is almost on to the next one. You've got those Aghanim Scepter, which I think ended up getting passed out. I'm not sure if it did or not, but regardless, he's going to be able to have it soon. Yeah, Lina does have that Aghanim Scepter given over to her by the Alk now.
All right, here's the play, Lyrical. You've got the Basher now on Monkey King, so just get super lucky with your Wukong's command. Get like a batches on all 5 heroes over and over again.
Hit the lucky button, guys. Yeah. That's the play.
But believe in yourself. That's what he needs, Gabe. Just have faith.
Yeah, I think you gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. As OG gonna hit it down. Monet taking a lot of damage. Cap, it is looking grim and a half.
Take a fight. Come on, LFY. You can't just go down like this. You can't just be slowly attrition to death the whole entire game.
Oh, There it is. Alchemist stunned himself. This is what they've been waiting for. Your time is now. Go after him. Alchemist is going to be healed back up. They can't break through it in the least bit. It's still going to be stunned. He's getting bashed by Monkey King, but it's not nearly enough. And now you're not going to have ultis for the second round. Ana getting a little bit big there in the back lines. They've got Slardar caught out. He does manage to get the blink away, but yeah, this is grim, to say the very least.
Lure them away, Fishy. Lure them away until we have our ults again. They've got Requiem, 70 seconds. I mean, I think OG just... They're going to play it super safe, and they're going to chill out. Maybe they wait for the next Roshan or something like that, but they've got a 20,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
Experience is even, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
The silver lining around this cloud that's sort of been this game for LFY. You do also have S4 who's finished off his Aghanim Scepter, so even if they did manage to start to bring that Alchemist low, you've got that countermeasure coming out from S4.
Yeah, I don't know how you actually deal with the innate regen of the Alchemist combined with the percentage-based regen of Cold Embrace, and then add on top of that if you throw magic damage at them, they can just pop the Centaur ultimate and mitigate most of that. It pretty much guarantees that under Gold Embrace and potentially using that ultimate, that Ana will just full heal. You know, you'll just full heal up in 4 seconds, he'll be good to go again.
It is quite difficult to deal with, and it's not just the Alchemist draft too, though. It's been the way that they've played around the nice timings from Shadow Fiend and the Ember Sphere. Like, that could have been a Naga Siren. It'd be pretty much the same story, I feel like. So, OG getting ready to move in yet again. Tier 3 tower already down, looking to try and secure their second lane of barracks if they want, or possibly just take down some wards and put the fear of God in LFY.
Metamorphosis back up. Time to go.
Monet taking the damage, pops the Blade Mill again. He can't Blade Mill the buildings, unfortunately, and that's going to be a melee barracks down. Super jumps forward. It was another stun that went down on Ana, and now they're starting to bring down that Ember Spirit. Another stun throws out onto him. Requiem of Souls doing absolutely nothing. The MK ulti is not really able to disrupt this team fight all that much. White is going to drop. They lose 2 and they lose the game.
Did you see White? He was in he was next to that one little tree. And he threw down the Wukong's command and then turned himself into a tree to stand next to it. He was like, maybe I could just sit here with the Wukong's command and they won't notice me. But hey, LFY, you tried. I don't know. I guess it's such a weird place because I've never looked at a team and been like,
OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Behold the horn of madness.
OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Legion Commander.
OG's turn to ban. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Soul Warlord.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Disruptor.
OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Dusk.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. OG's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hopping into the game now. Really excited to be seeing what happens. And the other thing too, as I'm looking at the lineup and thinking about what we've seen throughout this tournament, it's been like a coddle dual lane, and they still could potentially run that if they wanted to. You start spamming out Illuminate there with a Magnus, and then do that pull camp as well, the hard camp that we've talked about a lot during the other casts that we've seen. Do you think that's something that OG might be looking towards?
Possibly. They could start off doing that and leave the troll alone against the Legion Commander. Because the thing is that they also want the Tusk kind of roaming into that mid lane, because that's where the Monkey King is also going to be hanging out. So I'm not fully set on them doing the aggro dual lane like we've seen from other situations where you would have a different support sitting in the safe lane. It all depends on what they feel like is most beneficial, right? Is it more beneficial to get S4 that early lead and make sure he's able to have a good time in his offlane right away? Or is it better to try and shut out the Legion Commander and make sure there's nobody contesting No-Tail's safe lane troll Warlord farm? If they put Tusk in the bottom lane, it does leave an opportunity where White can make the first blood happen on Lina and mid and get the Ember Spirit a critical advantage that he desperately needs in this matchup. He needs a support to rotate in to give him a little bit of a boost.
Yeah. No, and it feels like they're already a little bit set up, the Ember Spirit, to have some of that vision over the mid lane. You saw that ward that was up on the high ground. Also worth noting, over on the right-hand side, the cliff was sentryed by LFY, and that was a little bit of a bait out. There was a ward that was actually placed over on the high ground by the shrine. So nice little, mind games going on from OG as Tusk placed that ward and then was scouted after the fact. So
this mid ward is so cool.
Yeah.
We were here for WESG, and we were playing Pubs at Land Cafe, and we discovered this ward.
Yeah.
They were playing it. They kill a tree, and then they put it here. Right, if you look at the vision, it's really good. It covers over mid. It's also highly unlikely to be countered unless they notice that the tree has been cut down.
it doesn't block the camp, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't block the camp. It sits just on the outside of that, but it also covers, what I really like is it covers this little area right here, which is very common for supports who are making the rotation over, so they can get a little bit of an early warning. So I think it's just such a cool lay down.
See if it can help out here. Ana is going to be scouted out. Light Strike Ray is going to connect, and Chain's actually really early aggression. They are going to dive for this, super tanking the tower, and, well, he's going to fall, but I guess he draws first blood. LFY,
with his dying breath, he's like, worth it. First blood, baby.
They are not going to rest on their laurels this game. I feel like that's a statement death right there.
Yeah, I mean, I said that was like, if you put Jarex in the bottom lane, this is potentially what could happen, is that the first blood's going to go the way of mid, because the Monkey King wants to be able to shut down this Lina, and Ember needs the extra help. And Ember is also a hero that really takes advantage of a support rotating in, because he does have such good offensive power, even if the static laning phase is not to his favor. That being said, it's not the end of all worlds. I'm sure Jarex is going to be still rotating into mid lane at some point, and Lina is obviously another hero that if they can get that snowball Ice Shards block in. Nice block at bottom, though.
Yeah, onto G-Sing, trying to
this
bring
is
him
close.
down. This is going to be a good bit of damage. Jerax not quite going to be able to run him down as of yet, and they're actually going to find a kill on Ana again in the mid lane.
No.
So, caught that right there with the little camera in camera. Also, we've been seeing some aggression that happened up in the top side, but this is going to be Jising using his shrine. They're actually going to think about diving further. There is no rest at all. People wanting to get aggro in this one.
Yeah, apparently poor Legion Commander can't even just chill out and farm, because they want to shove her away from this big creep wave that came in, right? It had double creep, it had double range creeps, and it had probably like 6 melee creeps. That's a lot of experience. He went from not quite having level 2 to now being level 3, and it's actually going to be level 3.5 with this next wave coming in. They really wanted to shove him away, but there's only so much they can actually do.
Yeah, and I mean, taking a look at the CS across the board, it's relatively even. All of the players basically at the same points. The big thing is that Lina's maybe being a little bit further behind Super here in the mid, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal as long as they don't keep on diving in on the Monkey King. That's the big thing, is that the kills are still racking up, and Ana is not going to get any help. They've got the chains again in a second, are going to be able to dive this one. Does do a light strike array, breaking the flame guard, so saving himself there.
Yeah, with that the early level of Sleight of Fist, maybe if he had Flame Guard, what would it be, 200 Magic Absorb, and then that would be, yeah, he would actually have 10 Magic Shell or whatever left on his Flame Guard, so he'd still have the damage over time available.
He did not hit that chain.
Oh, he did not.
Well, unfortunate there. Ana going to get away again. So, I mean, it's still been so much pressure there in the mid lane. Now S4 up top. Just going to keep on being zoned, but not sure if they realize that Fly's in the area as well. They should, and Illuminate spam is going to continue.
Yeah, he's been here all laning phase, so I'm sure they do know. S4 is sitting at 7, 4 plus another 3S. Oh, man.
Another kill down bottom.
They do manage to block him out just enough to be able to get that kill, so. This is pretty much the lane that I expected to go quite well for S4. He's not actually getting quite as much as CS as but it's just the problem is Disruptor's such a poor laning hero, so it's pretty much kind of just a Morphling by himself. I imagine that Magnus Keeper of the Light is going to be very powerful.
Do have the Monkey King that's sort of stalking that top side now as well. They could try and make something with that, although it is going to be LPC going to pick up the Bounty Rune. Maybe now that they're going to bring back in the Disruptor, S4 possibly in a little bit of trouble. They're going to go with that slow for the moment. They do have another Boundless Strike if they want to use it, as well as, of course, the waveform forward. Kinetic Field's been dropped. S4 in a lot of trouble and out of mana, out of time, out of life.
Maybe Jarek's can turn things around. Monet is not really the target because he still has that strength morph.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to run him down as of yet, at least.
Oh,
But
the blast?
kinetic field, it's really low, but he's not going to be enough to find the kill. Monet's still sticking around on such low HP, but they are going to be able to find that kill onto Jerickson. Well, Fly is still here as well. They can start life-stealing off of this if they want. OG continuing to dive for this. S4 has come back in, trying to bring down Monet. They do have another right-click, and that's going to be enough to find the kill. Double for S4.
LFY got a bit too greedy there. They've just been like content with the 2 kills that they got and just back away. S4 though comes back in, cleans up 2 kills, is now at level 4. We're reaching to level 5, almost has arcane boots as well. That was a huge win for him to be able to come back and get all that. OG have pretty much won 2 lanes. They've won their off lane, they've won their bottom lane. They're just kind of sacrificing it at mid as that Lina. And he's still not doing badly when it comes to CS. He's 24-1.
Absolutely. He's having himself a pretty fine game, particularly since there's been all this movement away from his lane now. The movement up there by the Monkey King has allowed him to stay even or even catch up a little bit on farm compared to Super and almost level 6. Do you think that he's going to start trying to get aggressive with that Laguna Blade up or just keep the threat of it there in lane and farm more?
Not sure. Fly? Yeah, he's dead. I think both these mid players want to be able to get aggressive. I'm gonna die again. Not again.
Seems very likely if Monkey King sticks around. White is actually going to head off towards the rest of the jungle. Wanted to secure himself a bounty rune, but isn't going to happen. S4 in the meanwhile, trying to break down and kill off this camp that he's stacked up. Actually, both of them are stacked.
I kind of think Super would love to make a rotation down to bottom lane as G-Sing gets his level 6 and they had the duel. It'd be a great play if they can actually make a rapid rotation over where they get aggressive on the Troll. Not just for the dual damage, but also being able to shut down No-Tail. Troll is a hero that does not farm particularly well. He's just a very strong laning phase hero and builds through a constant of not dying, having some hero kills, and always being able to have presence around lanes. So if they can actually, you know, kind of shut him down just a little bit, I think it would do wonders for their mid game.
See, walking through. It's a little pass by Fly, and now going to try and start racking up the damage. Monet's still in the area, but Fly is not long for this world. Also going to get the Jingu stacks up now for White. A very free lane for these supports. They could leave if they wanted to.
S4, part of the reason Caudle was alone in lane is that S4 is clearing through a big old stack right now. It's got the arcane boots and already another 750 gold, so they're going to give him a very fast blink dagger, it looks like, and he's also going to have very fast higher levels of empower as well, thanks to all the experience that he's being granted. That empower will then translate into more farm, faster farm for No-Tail. So the synergy is pretty good for OG's lineup, but LFY are doing some things really well. I think they're rotating really well in their Monkey King. White's being a monster right now and keeping poor Anna down. G-Sing is getting some okay farm in his off lane. It's obviously not going to compare to Magnus, but it's more about him just getting what he needs.
Well, they're going to pull back in, Fly again, and waveform forward. A couple more right clicks. Quite low off of that one, but no points in Adaptive Strike means Monet will not be able to find that kill. God, Caudle's just so quick right now. Oh, are they going to get that kill? Why? There's the Boundless Strike. Nice pickup.
They're doing all right when it comes to the Disruptor's experience. That's something I usually try and keep an eye on because he's such a lackluster support until he gets level 6. So, looks like mid. Anna's going to die again.
Well, they're trying to bring him down, and that is not going to end up happening. So low. They use that Boundless Strike on the Caudle, the long cooldown.
Yeah, they used the Glimpse earlier on the Caudle, and that also is a long cooldown, so that wasn't up either. So, damn, Anna. It's by the skin of his teeth.
Good. I mean, he needs to stay alive in these ones. So it's felt to me like OG are still in a really good spot here. They're getting the levels, getting their farms, and it's always going to be a threat. The empower and, you know, combination that comes out from Magnus with an RP. It's scary stuff. A nice little pull here as well. Get the stack on the Ancients. Good job of maintaining the farming efficiency around the map, OG.
Yeah, I think both teams are kind of okay with just farming up the lane, utilizing the jungle. It's just a question of what points does Super want to get aggressive. For mid Ember Spirits, you wait until the... Oh, he's actually going boots.
All right. Oh, and here's a duel down. They're going to be able to find this kill, so
Nice.
a bit of dual damage there for the Legion Commander.
It's interesting. I really thought he was going to be going the Veil of Discord. He was going to be moving around aggressively with the Legion Commander and with the Monkey King and finding kills on this Ember Spirit, but he's actually going Boots of Travel first and focusing more on farm efficiency. Yes, I do think that they want to draw out the game, and split pushing with the Ember Spirit can buy a lot of space between him and the Morphling, but I do think that there is a certain point where you want to get aggressive with this Ember Spirit and make use of his heavy burst damage at 15. Maybe they don't feel comfortable fighting into OG, though, because OG do have a lineup that is very adept at fighting with the core Lina so early on. Like, that is one of the cores that's going to peak the earliest in this current meta. And Magnus is not too shabby thanks to all the extra farm he's gotten from the key.
And talking about something the panel alluded to as well, the snowball saves from Jerax. You go in on one particular hero with the duel, and suddenly you're not going to be able to find that kill if he's in the correct spot. So could be tough there as well. In the meantime, OG continue the push out, spamming the wave with Illuminate. Coddle's going to keep getting himself farmed, but a snowball aggressively into Sing, but there's going to be the turnaround now. Shard's already out to try and block it off, but it's not going to end up mattering. They're onto the Troll Warlord, starting to drop low, and is going to be able to find that kill. Legion picking that one up.
Yeah, G-Sing, they already had the smoke rotation coming in from the Monkey King and Ember Spirit, so he was trying to put himself in a position where he was kind of baiting a little bit, trying to see if OG go on him. Sure enough, they oblige. They get a big kill on the Troll Warlord. First successful rotation of the Ember Spirit. It's a big one.
Done. Monet still is going to farm too. And how scary is this hero in this type of game with no silences, basically?
Yeah, they need Ana. That's part of the problem that I had with them not supporting Ana more, is I think Ana does need to have a really good game because he's one of the biggest threats to the Morphling. You get Bloodstone Shadowblade and you could just pop out. You stay invis and you lead with Light Strike Array. It's a great way to surprise a Morphling and quickly burst him down when he's trying to farm with high agility stacks. But still, though, maybe they just had faith that Ana was going to be able to make the comeback because he's really didn't miss too much of the beat. He's sitting at 4,200 gold, despite having died twice in his laning phase.
Yeah, and well, he's still going to be able to get in towards that Bloodstone at a decent clip. You do have a big rotation up here by OG, and it looks like Coddle trying to make sure that he secures that bounty rune, but Monkey King already in the area. Over by the other rune, it's Super again aggressive towards Jerax. He's going to try and go for the Remnant forward, able to dodge away from that Light Strike Ray, and they do find the kill onto that Tusk. White pump faked the ulti, but did not go for it in the end.
The Disruptor, they do have their level 6. They have yet to use Static Storm. So I wouldn't even mind like another smoke play. Oh, they actually have an Invis rune for Super, so this is a great rotation behind the mid area.
They have a replicate too, so Monet is here. They're on to S4 already. Gonna jump forward onto him. Static Storm is down. This is going to be a kill now onto the Magnus, looking for more. There's gonna be the jump forward by the Ember, possibly. They don't even need to go for it. They're just gonna kill off Lina. So that's 2 cores down. LFY are looking great again.
I like that LPC played that very safe and threw out the Static Storm very early on the Magnus to make sure there wasn't some sort of RP or even just a skewer play from that Magnus. You know, locked them in, made sure they get that 1 kill, and then obviously with the positioning and the number of heroes that they had, they could just turn it into more the glimpse on Ana. So LFY's looking really strong. OG's main time, like it's similar to the way LFY we're kind of looking at game number 1, is that their big peaks are going to be around 25-30 minutes. So suffering pre-15 minutes is not the worst thing in the world for them. It does mean their mid game is going to come off to a little bit of a rocky start, though.
Whoa, No Tail taking that big old stack of Ancients, and this is certainly going to help them. I mean, that's the big thing, I guess, is that if they can still get in to the items that they need, it doesn't stop that timing push that they're going to want to hit. I do worry, though, that if maybe LFY start moving around, finding more of these pickoffs, that's going to put a hamper on their timing, and then they fall into a position where they're always playing from behind. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. That one hurt.
Sorry, S4.
Don't worry, nobody saw it.
Well, No Tail's going to have... He's going to pick up the SNY, but they have SNY, Vlad's. That's a really big peak. Another one is going to be when he finishes up the BKB as well. OG seemed to just be pretty content to play around No Tail's farm at this point.
Do have that blink dagger for the Legion
the
Commander.
surprise
And there's a jump up in the top lane already there. Monet is going to be turned upon the Legion Commander. Waveform forward, excuse me, the Lina, and she is going to end up dropping in a second, possibly? Maybe not. They can't quite kill off, and the snowball forward and going to be able to get the Walrus Punch onto White. The rest of LFY is wrapping around. I don't know if this is a bait so much as just trying not to be a desperate situation. They are able to kill off that Morphling. Static Storm a little bit too late, and now I don't know if they're going to be able to find these kills. Coddle gets the Blinding Light pushback. Super is going to try and chase him down, but they've already lost the 2 cores, so to me, this is a kill you have to get, but it's really not that worth it.
Yeah, losing their Morphling was really bad. To be fair, though, they should have lost their Morphling a lot sooner. The missed LSA there from Ana really hurt them a lot. They were looking to just quickly get a burst kill on a Morphling and then move from there. All around, a little bit rocky for both teams, but LFY, they've got the Veil of Discord coming in for this Ember Spirit, and he has the Boots of Travel. All their timings seem to be solid. They just have to weather the mid-game where this troll's going to just be a monster. He's going to get his SMY, he's going to have a huge stat pool, he's going to survive through burst damage, and he's going to have the attack damage to burrow down towers and get a lot of map control.
Coddle did so much in this fight too. That Blinding Light, it allowed Ana to stay alive a lot longer.
Yeah.
So necessary. Nonetheless, still there was a good couple of kills there, and Ana dying so quickly and then immediately coming back again, the respawn time there.
Man, that Static Storm was so close to being really good.
Yeah, I know.
It was like 3 heroes, and the Kinetic Field just couldn't lock them in time, and all of them managed to get out. Lincoln, Simone is almost there. He can start split pushing a lot more aggressively once he does have that item. He'd have to worry a little bit about the Magnus RP. Other than that, no other real big threats from OG until they have maybe Shadow Blade and maybe even a Yules to break the Lincolns or something like that.
The other thing to keep in mind, you almost have the Blade Mail completed on that Legion. Only needs that one last component, only about 1,000 gold away, and 40 dual damage. This is a hero that can get out of control very quickly, and if you get to the point where you can solo pick off supports with 1 duel and don't even need somebody else, the Coddle, even the Lina is just going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, for sure.
LPC Midas as well on that Disruptor.
Can't blame him too much for it. Ag's upgrade is on Disruptors oftentimes looked as just kind of like luxury. Like, yeah, if you can get it, that's really cool and everything, but it's not really the point of the hero. But I do believe LFY are planning to push this game pretty late. They'd like their Disruptor to remain as relevant as possible.
So how do you think OG are feeling about this game right now? Are they still in at least a somewhat comfortable spot because they've got like the Empower Troll to fall back upon? Or is that kind of a little bit too not good enough compared to what the Morphling's doing?
I feel like both teams are kind of comfortable just because we haven't hit that big moment where OG should take over the game, and how successfully they do so, we'll have to wait and see.
Coddle just drops there in the jungle. S4, they're diving for this one, man. Just saying, not afraid of anything. And it's going to be contained inside the shards now. He's blocked off from the rest of his team. They do drop the Static Storm. A little bit of a zoning one. Not often you say that unironically, but actually was.
Yeah, I kind of saved jinxing, I guess. I think he just kind of hoped that didn't really have the vision over there, that he was going to catch somebody and help save his buddy at the same time. Not really the case, though. Morphling bounces back up to top lane, which is pushing in. I think Troll, does he have his S and Y coming in? Yeah, the same just coming in now. So with the S and Y complete, that's the big stat upgrade with the healthy amount of strength that he has. Oh, they're actually going to try and get a quick kill now.
They're on top of him. A good pushback, though, means still finding there's going to be the RS4 trying to turn this, but No-Tail's already down. So they are going to lose 2. For the side of LFY in the midst of all that craziness. It looked for a second like it was actually going better for them, but they find another kill onto LPC, so OG able to turn that back around.
Yeah, you could see it's just like that was the Troll. They had a hard time killing the Troll before he actually had the Sange in his inventory. I think he picked it up like halfway through. It's just like this hero is going to be really tough for them to be able to crack, and even when they get the right kind of initiation, they blow everything they have on him, he still doesn't fall immediately. So this is the problem that I kind of foresaw that was going to be coming up for LFY.
Yeah.
But this is also just the timing of the lineup. LFY have plenty of options to play around. They can go ahead and split push pretty heavily. They're going to also see if they could break apart OG and make some smoke plays here and there. That's another duel.
Yeah, they're there on top of him. Going to be able to secure that one. Last time the Troll Warlord ended up getting the dual damage, but up to 50 more now for Juicing and getting, again, closer to that Blade Mail. Still a little ways away. Last set of Creep Waves should be able to secure it, though.
5 successful duels by 20 minutes is really impressive. This is like the hero for Juicing. This is the hero that he's known for the most, and we're really seeing why. He has a knack for finding these openings and is going to translate into a third core really nicely. Sometimes you see Legion commanders and they just fall off late game because what happens is they didn't get the dual damage early, and it just, if you get that early dual damage, allows you to start snowballing, you get more and more dual damage, etc. So it looks like this game is going to be a great game. They can rely on this here for the late game. It does put a lot more pressure on OG, reaching about 40, 45 minutes. They got to be thinking, can this single core Troll really hold up when we're dealing with 3 cores that are all going to scale really well?
Now Radiant scan there, and they realize that people are heading down to try and deal with No-Tail. He's still going to stick around in this area.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not anticipating that LPC is there. There's the glimpse
That
back.
was not the glimpse play.
Well, they still have vision on him, but yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. They're not going to be able to find it because of that.
That's the second glimpse that has been really bad. The last one was on the Tuscan mid. It didn't look really bad, but he could have gotten an extra free kill if he had just waited on the glimpse timing a little bit more and pulled the Tusk back into Wukong's command. He just used it too early. That one obviously helping the Troll escape.
Well, you win some, you lose some, as Lina finishing off that Bloodstone, up to 15 charges as well, and has that damage talent now. So Ana going to continue to scale and become a stronger right-click damage dealing hero. There was some movement towards Roche earlier, but OG not wanting to step too far forward and put themselves in a precarious spot. Still, the storyline is Monet farming.
What's he sitting on now? Ghost Scepter, working on that Ethereal Blade. What's nice in this game is that Ethereal Blade is not just like the extra bit of burst damage when you get a dual target or something like that, but it can be a saving mechanism for whoever the Troll is going on. He can actually save an ally by putting them in the Ethereal state. Well, it could also leave them exposed to Lina and Kato, but you know, sometimes you gotta make some risky plays like that.
I'm with you. The Blade Mail, too, just going to be so effective against the Troll. To mention the Lina eventually, too, that sort of glass cannon type of hero that we've been seeing her turn into. Kind of feeling, again, like LFY, do they need to just try and play the pickoff game constantly? Like, do you need to focus down any one particular hero, or is it just based off of whoever shows in the lane?
I think it's more about what opportunities present themselves when you've split pushed OG break apart. So whenever you can get bottom lane and top lane pushed out, naturally OG are going to have to show probably 2 heroes, and that's where your openings present themselves. I don't think there's any one here. Like, obviously, they'd love to be able to kill the Troll, but oftentimes Troll he's going to be tough to crack, and there's oftentimes going to be allies surrounding him. Lina would be a great, real quick 1-2, but Ana's not really playing on map unless he's got heroes around him. Very similar scenario to the Troll, so I think they just continue to farm. If they see an opportunity for a pickoff, it's great, but instead, just keep morphling. Go, go, go.
I really like the Lina build this time. We've seen a couple different variations of it. OP tends to go for the Shadow Blade after the Bloodstone, but this one into the Yules to save yourself, but also immediately afterwards into the Boots of Travel, so that way you can die in the midst of a fight and then get right back into it. So it's like that 6th hero. And also you get the heals over for the rest of your team. Yeah,
he's got to address some of the split pushing that the Ember Spirit is going to be doing. So I also like the Boots of Travel quite a bit. The Yules is helpful, and it'll help deal with the Lincolns of the Morphling, but I did kind of think Shadow Blade was necessary to deal with both Morphling and Ember Spirit. They're both quick reaction escape heroes.
I don't know if this is necessarily the fight that LFY want to take. They're going to go for the duel, but there's going to be the RP trying to turn it back around, but Tusk is already gone. Wukong's command comes out as well. Jinxing starting to follow, is going to die, but Monet able to take one in return, so No-Tail going to be dropped down. That glimpse a little bit better than previous ones, and Fly is going to fall because of it. Monet with the triple kill, almost completing his E-Blade. He is getting stacked up.
I actually didn't see how LFY made that read to rotate so many heroes up to the top lane. Like, OG, they wanted to get aggressive and find a pickoff, and that's why they grouped up. I'm just not sure why LFY had so many heroes rapidly rotating up to that top lane and be in that vicinity. how they made that read, but it was definitely a solid one. Wins them a big team fight. Can actually take an objective themselves here, it looks like, is still another 18 seconds on that troll.
Yeah, and doing a lot of damage. You can see again, Jarek's trying to bait this out, and there are a lot of heroes over in the area, but LFY realized what's going to come, and everybody in the area, nice little boundless strike.
Radiant's top tower has
Like,
fallen.
thought that it was going to be a little bit better with that RP, but
Yeah, they just didn't have the immediate follow-up. Oh, man, this Morphling's, yeah, he's out of control now. He's got the Ethereal Blade, like he's got the burst damage. He can blow up some of these squishier supports, and at 1-2 with a little bit of assistance from a support, he can even blow up cores. This is the OG nightmare.
Pro Warlord's still a good distance away from his BKB as well. Is going to be looking towards that Mithril Hammer next, but in the meantime, he's just a walking target. He's still fairly tanky, but yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, like comparatively, I think when you have BKB on Troll, that is the strongest he will be. Like, obviously, he'll still scale into late game pretty well, but if you compare him to what LFY have in their pool and how they're going to be scaling into late game, that is their biggest peak for the Trolls. So OG got to get a lot accomplished, in my opinion, in that window. LFY are going to continue to put pressure on OG. They just want a significant team fight in top, and they're not going to give OG a whole lot of time to recover, perhaps in part because that BKB is still down. They do have RP, though, on S4.
Goes out, S4 is there, the duel immediately. They're all over these guys. Static Storm is down as well, but I'm not sure if it's going to end up being enough. LFY all over these guys. No Tail trying to find this kill onto Jising is going to be able to kill him back, and now the skewer onto 2. S4 with the plays, able to find it. Monet trying to get out, does manage to get up to the high ground, but is he going to be able to TP away? No! They take him down. 4 kill streak is broken by No Tail. That's a hell of a lot of gold to him.
It is tough to push into a team that has Lina, you know, because what happened there is they actually, Monet pops Anna.
Yeah.
Like, he got to that backline, he killed him, and Anna instantly revived.
Yeah.
So it's like they had 2 buybacks. One was Anna instantly reviving, and then S4 actually buying back and getting that RP that resulted in this skewer, and obviously ended up winning them the team fight. But LFY, you got to be a little bit more cautious diving into those tier 2s against a Lina strategy like this.
Let's watch the Lina death and then immediately coming back. Hey guys, we're here!
He's like, back, all right, I'm TPing in. Instant buyback from S4 as well. He gets that 2-man RP in the back line.
I mean, this is why they take this hero with the Troll Warlord too, because you talk about that timing they're going to hit, where he gets his BKB complete and they're going to be so much stronger. It's accentuated by the Lina. It's so good. But also, LFY are going to realize that that's a thing, and assuming try and play around the fights and avoid them whenever possible. Go for split push game.
Man, you could see how far ahead he was, because when he got hit by that RP, I was like, all right, he's done. And he almost made it. He waveformed over the cliff. He TP'd out. He almost made it. It was like maybe a second shy of being able to get back to base. The fact that they did actually kill Monet meant so much to OG. If they failed in that, it would have been a buyback kind of wasted, you know. They need that progression. They need the progression for S4. Like, S4 actually may need to turn into a little bit more damage dealer later on. Obviously, he needs to focus on his positioning right now. The Shadow Blade is still the best option for him right now, but talking later into the game, he may actually have to pick up some BKB and try and be that big click Magnus that we've seen
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
in the early days of 7.0.
So Cap, we've got this Aegis here on Troll Warlord. He has got Empower, Sanjin Yasha, BKB completed. You said it doesn't get a whole lot more powerful than that. What are the objectives that you feel like he needs to take over the next couple minutes? Is it all of the tier 2 towers? Is it just like 1 or 2 of them? Or is it more just dependent on how much farm they can get out of the map?
And again, it's like, I think a couple of tier 2s. Not sure if all of them is really possible. Us is dead. Just save him.
Oh?
No, it's gonna
my
TP
God.
out.
I got him. They're all over him.
I was going to say, just kind of leave him until Jising is there to be able to get the dual damage, you know? It's just like, you know, just save him as this leftover that Jising can gobble up for the extra duel, but did have to stop that TP. So they get the pick off. Disruptor plays it safe just at the right time as OG were looking for a counter kill there.
We've seen occasionally FN go for something on the Troll Warlord too. It's been like a Blink Dagger type of play to get really aggressive. Looks like No Tail feeling like he needs to be able to deal with that duel, which makes a lot of sense. And now moving from lane to lane. I mean, it's a lot of damage with the Lina mixed in the Troll Warlord.
Trading tier 2s is okay for LFY. Again, I don't think they should be too eager to contest this Troll Warlord. He's got BKB and an Ultimate Orb. He's sitting at 2,500 HP. They are mass TPing back, but this tier 2 tower is already gone. I don't think they should try and stretch it much.
And there's still 2 minutes left on this Aegis. OG have been getting on their horse, moving around the map.
Yep, so they've got 2 of the... They're all 3 tier 2s were up, right? So they've gotten 2 out of 3 so far. This Aegis. See, pick up that 3rd one. Though I would actually prefer them to try and go high ground instead of working their way across the map, since they do have only a limited amount of time with this Aegis. Doesn't look like they like that idea.
I mean, they need to maintain that pressure. It's interesting, though, because you do have the recall from Coddle.
Yeah, so maybe they will actually still keep it up.
Is he close to Aghanim Scepter at this point, the Coddle?
Yeah, he's 900. Oh, no, he actually had the extra bit there, so.
This is a really great time.
Yeah, 1.5 minutes.
They're there. Walrus Punch to start this. Snowballing through, dealing damage. LFY. Are the wheels coming off? That's 60 seconds with no Legion Commander. They're going to go high ground with this.
Did OG just find a win?
What?
Maybe. This is going to be really close.
Monet pops the BKB. He turns to fight White, trying to get out of there. OG pulling a fast one. They're going to run down Super here as well. They're on to Monet. He's switching over. The Lincoln Sphere has already been popped, and there's going to be the Static Storm down, trying to still kill this guy off. There's going to be the Laguna Boy. They find the kill. He's buying back, but that's also going to be no Monkey King for another 35 seconds. All right, there's no BKB here for No Tail, but he does still have that Aegis. There's the
about to wear out. Oh, man, if they could have just saved it for a little bit longer.
All right, round 2, ding, 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 going in for it. Another jump forward, Monet, but there's RP! They take him down. Ana gonna look for a killing spree, and they are gonna be able to find it. 4 dead, 90 seconds, no Morphling.
Oh, LFY, you had to, this is like the timing. Like OG, they're the strongest, I think comparatively. This is the strongest that they could be, and it's just over. Oh, no.
Off the back of some good decision-makings, a couple pickoffs in S4.
Oh, no.
What a play. OG remained perfect.
I mean, props to OG, right? They set themselves up to really capitalize on that kind of mistake, right?
Yeah.
They didn't rotate with the Aegis and try and go for that last tier 2, right? They said, we need to try and go high ground when we're the strongest. Right now, it's not going to get easier, so they put themselves in that position. They're gifted this free kill on G-Sing, and all of a sudden it just turns so much worse as a bad team fight for LFY ends the game.
I mean, I kept on looking at that game, and, you know, your Legion Commander, you're building up a lot of damage. You got your Morphling going crazy, E-Blade done, and then just like that, it falls out of your hands. You had it. Oh, Cap.
Rough.